In a world rushing toward endless progress, there still exist forgotten places where time stands still. Places where love, harmony and simplicity matter more than wealth or machines. Today I invite you to step with me into one such village. A story of choice, of sacrifice and of love that blooms far from the noise of the modern world. The Echo of Simplicity. In a forgotten corner of the world, nestled between green hills and winding rivers, there lay a small village untouched by time. The village had no name on any modern map, for the people who lived there had long ago chosen a life of isolation. They had turned away from the fast-moving world beyond the mountains, clinging instead to the ancient ways of their ancestors. Their homes were made of sun-dried mud and stone, their food grown from the earth by calloused hands, and their joy came not from screens or machines but from shared laughter, morning songs, and the warmth of one another's company. The people of this village lived with a kind of harmony rarely seen. They were poor by the standards of the outside world, yet rich in all the ways that mattered most. There were no locks on doors, no competition for status, no loneliness or fear of being left behind. They lived as one family, bound by trust, love, and the belief that true happiness came from simplicity, not progress. They weren't ignorant of the world beyond the hills. Their ancestors had seen the dawn of machines, the rise of cities, and the endless march of technology. But long ago, the village elders gathered and decided together, they would step away. They would not allow steel and electricity to take root in their soil, fearing that such things would bring greed, division, and the loss of the sacred unity they cherished. And so, generation after generation, they passed on their values, their songs, their way of life, untouched, unchanging, and full of peace. Far away, in the heart of the modern world, a team of explorers had gathered with a single mission, to study lost civilizations and hidden cultures. They were 7 in total: historians, anthropologists, dreamers. One of them, a quiet man named Elias, had always felt that something was missing from the life he lived. Despite the buzz of cities and the convenience of modern life, he often felt like a leaf caught in the wind, never rooted, never still. One summer their expedition led them through dense forests, across harsh terrain, and over high cliffs. They were chasing rumors of a village that time had forgotten, spoken of only in the oldest texts. After weeks of difficult travel, the forest parted, and there, bathed in golden sunlight, was the village, just as the old stories had described. From a distance, the explorers watched. Hidden behind trees and stones, they observed the villagers working together in the fields, singing songs while harvesting grain. They saw children playing barefoot in the grass, elders telling stories beneath trees, young men weaving baskets, and women grinding herbs with care and pride. The scene felt like something out of a dream. Elias was particularly mesmerized, not by the culture alone but by the way joy radiated from even the smallest acts. But it was not just the village that caught Elias's eye. Among the villagers was a young woman with gentle eyes and hair like flowing night. Her name, he would later learn, was Lila. She moved with a kind of grace that seemed to slow time around her. She laughed with children, cared for the elderly, and carried herself with quiet strength. Elias felt something shift in him the first time he saw her, something deep and undeniable. The other explorers wanted to remain observers, but Elias had a different idea. He decided to stay. He told the others he would remain behind to learn more. And though they were surprised, they respected his choice. He took only the clothes on his back and a simple bag, and from that day forward, he began a new life among the villagers. Disguised as a traveler from a distant similar land, Elias sought to become one of them. He spent months watching, listening, imitating. He learned their language, their customs, their way of thinking. He woke with the sun, worked in the fields, sat by the fire at night to hear old tales. The villagers were wary at first, but as the days turned to weeks and the weeks to months, he earned their trust. Not by pretending, but by slowly becoming. And all the while, he grew closer to Lila. They started with shy greetings, then shared tasks. Over time they spoke for hours beneath the stars, laughing, wondering, dreaming. Elias didn't tell her where he truly came from. He was afraid of what the truth might mean, but Lila was not blind. She watched him closely, saw the way his hands trembled when using tools he was not used to, the questions he asked that no one from her world would ask. One evening, as the sky blushed with the colors of sunset, Lila turned to him and said softly,
"You are not from here, are you?"
Narrator Vio. Elias hesitated, then lowered his gaze. Elias: No, I'm not.
Narrator VO. Lila's eyes didn't fill with anger, only sadness. Lila, why did you come?
Narrator Vio. He looked at her then, fully, honestly. Elias: At first it was curiosity, but now I stay because of you, because of this place, because here I finally understand what it means to live.
Narrator, VO. Lila was quiet for a long time, the wind brushing her hair across her face.
Narrator, VO. Then she whispered, Lila, you cannot live between two worlds, Elias. One day you must choose.
Narrator, VO, and so he did. He stood before the village council days later and confessed everything. He told them who he truly was, where he came from, and why he had stayed. There was silence, then murmurs, then a great debate. Some feared betrayal. Others saw the sincerity in his eyes. And in the end, it was Lila who stood up and spoke.
He has learned our ways. He has lived as we do. He has given up comfort and chosen to work beside us. If love can bring someone so far from their world to ours, is that not a reason to believe in it?
The village elders, after long deliberation, allowed Elias to remain, but only if he truly meant to leave his old life behind. So Elias did what many could not. He let go. He abandoned the devices, the connections, the speed of the modern world. He buried his old identity and embraced a new one. He became a villager not just in appearance but in heart. It was not easy. The days were long, and the work was hard. There were times he missed the ease of his former life, but each time doubt whispered in his ear, he looked at Lila, at the children who now called him uncle, at the stars that blinked above their untouched skies, and he remembered why he had chosen this path. He and Lila married in the old tradition, beneath the moon, with the entire village singing around them. There were no photographs, no videos, no grand celebrations broadcast to the world, only a moment, pure and perfect, etched forever into memory. Years passed. Elias became a leader in the village, not by authority but by example. He taught new skills, learned old ones, and helped bridge the few gaps between tradition and gentle innovation, without ever bringing the poison of greed or ambition. And sometimes, on quiet nights, he would sit with Lila and speak of the world he left behind. She would listen, and then ask, "Do you ever regret it?"
He would smile, touch her hand and say, Elias, I gave up a world, but I gained a life.
The villagers continued their way of life, bound by simplicity, united in purpose. And in time, they passed their stories down, including the tale of the outsider who came seeking knowledge, but stayed for love. Elias's sacrifice became a symbol, not of what was lost, but of what could be gained when one chooses the heart over the machine, the slow dance of life over the rush of progress. For in that forgotten village it was not wealth or technology that defined happiness, it was the quiet beauty of waking each day beside the one you love, in a place where every soul matters and every heartbeat is in harmony with the land. Thank you for joining me on this journey into a forgotten corner of the world. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more stories like this. And if you'd like to support my work and help me continue creating, you can do so through Ko-Fi. Every little bit means the world. Until next time, remember, sometimes the greatest wealth is found in simplicity.